everyone! Now just as a heads up, I am going to be talking about something in this video that could be triggering to some people. I'm not saying that to dissuade you from watching, I just want to give everybody a heads up right at the start. You see, last week something happened that made me think, do you know what? I want to talk about this and share it with people. So I'm gonna. I have a habit where before I go to bed, I quite enjoy watching Glee on Netflix. Yes, I am so cheesy that I just like to lie under my duvet and watch a show about a load of obviously not teenagers pretending to be teenagers singing show tunes. Don't judge me. Normally, because it's a show that I don't need to focus on too much, I just lie there under my duvet, tra-la-la-la-la, what a great song, and then I go to sleep and it's all fine. But last week I watched an episode that left me having a very different reaction. Now the episode in question was about self-acceptance because the character of Rachel wanted a nose job and everybody was trying to persuade her that she was beautiful as she was and she didn't need surgery to improve herself. It really hit home because I spent most of my teens begging my parents to let me have a nose job when I turned 18 because I just hated my face. And I figured after having this huge reaction to an episode of Glee, I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Because there are many things in this world that make me angry. For example, bad driving makes me angry. Excessively arrogant people make me angry. And of course, the continued existence of Mrs. Brown's boys. Seriously, a particularly bad bout of diphtheria would probably entertain me more. But there's one thing in this world that makes me more angry and more upset than anything else, and that's bullying. Now, I should highlight that I consider all things like sexism, racism, and homophobia and all those awful things to come under the umbrella term of bullying, because essentially you're picking on somebody for not being the way you think they should be. And that's bullying in a nutshell. All of those things have no place in this world, and bullying in general is the one thing I would like to just stamp out completely because the world would be a better place. Why do I hate bullying so much? Well, it should be obvious because anybody with a sense of decency should hate bullying because it's a vile thing to do to someone. But I hate it particularly because it drastically changed my life. And at the risk of sounding melodramatic, it could have ended it. Now, when I was a kid, I've mentioned before that I was kind of precocious, I was fairly confident, and I dreamed of being on the stage. I've written a play, and it's just got one person in it, me, and I'm going to perform it right now, and it's also got a really cool theme song, which I wrote, and I'm going to sing. La! I was chatty, I was happy, I was pretty confident in my own skin. I liked who I was. And then I started secondary school. And within months of starting secondary school, I'd had my first secondary school report. And it used the phrase worryingly withdrawn to describe me. In just a few months, I had gone from this very confident, happy-go-lucky young girl to being somebody who genuinely hated herself. And the reason was bullying. Now look, I know I don't look like other girls. There are channels on YouTube run by women who are just stunningly beautiful, and I'm not one of them. That's fine. I'm aware that my nose is very big, that I have dodgy teeth and crazy hair that I can do very little with. I'm not saying any of that to fish for compliments. I'm just saying I live in a world where mirrors exist. I know what my face looks like. To put it bluntly, I'm not conventional looking, and I was always kind of okay with that as a kid, because when you're a child you don't necessarily think about things like, am I conventionally beautiful? But as an adult woman, there are very few women out there who probably aren't completely aware of what society deems beauty to look like. And that is a whole other video I will make one day. But the thing is, nowadays I'm 37 and I've accepted my exterior, and I know that what society pushes in our faces as stereotypical beauty isn't what everybody finds attractive, and that's okay, and it's good to be different. But as a kid, when you're just getting to know yourself and your confidence is really fragile when you're heading into your teens, that's a really bad time to have somebody just constantly attack the way you look. I was 11 when it started. I went to secondary school, and the very first day I experienced something that I'd never experienced before. Now, yes, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago in a video that at primary school there was a boy in my class who took it upon himself one day to list the reasons I wasn't pretty. And yes, that upset me, and I was sad about it, because he was supposed to be my friend, and I didn't really understand why he'd felt the need to do it. But it was a one-off. When I started secondary school, it wasn't a one-off. It was every single day. I had to get the bus to school, and every day on the journey to and from school, I was spat at. I had food thrown at me. I had names yelled at me. And worst of all, the ringleader of this group of bullies would come and sit next to me on the school bus and do what I can only refer to as mental torture. He would sit next to me and tell me I was so ugly, nobody will ever love me. He would tell me that my parents must be incredibly ashamed and embarrassed to have a daughter who looked like me. He would tell me that nobody in the world deserved to have to look at my hideous face, and so I should go home and kill myself. And when I was just 12 years old, that's what I tried to do. If I sound a bit emotional, it's because I am. I don't believe any child, and that's what I was, deserves that, ever. Now, when I say that's what I tried to do, it was a very half-assed attempt. Nothing physical happened to me whatsoever. There was no effect other than mental on what I did to myself, and I'm not going to talk about what I did because A, it can be really triggering to hear that kind of thing, and B, if there's anybody watching this, I genuinely don't want to give anyone tips. I mean, like I said, nothing happened to me, but you know, it would be irresponsible of me to talk about suicide methods on this channel, so I'm not going to. And like I said, nothing happened. I did a thing and it didn't work, and I'm glad in hindsight that it didn't work. And at the time, I just went and lay on my bed and cried and cried and cried, and I very quickly realised I didn't want to die. I just wanted it to stop. Let's take a break and admire some emergency cute puppies, because this is getting deep. Everybody tells you that phrase, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. And I have just one thing to say to those people. That is a load of crap. Because those words that went into my little 12-year-old brain every single day did hurt. They hurt massively, and they still hurt to think about today, over 20 years later. When someone tells you constantly that your face is so appallingly disgusting that you don't deserve to live, and that your own family couldn't possibly love you because of it, you hear that every day, and it chips and it chips and it chips away at the person you were, and you become somebody else instead. I went from that precocious little kid all like jazz hands and wanting to be on the stage to being a young person who was so terrified of her own shadow. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror because I hated what I saw. I was so shy, so withdrawn. I was a ghost of the person that I genuinely believed I was going to grow into one day. I didn't want to be on a stage anymore. I didn't want to be seen anymore. There are very few photos of me between the ages of 12 and 16 because I didn't want to look at myself, and I couldn't fathom any reason that anybody else would either. And yeah, I'm 37 now and I still look in the mirror sometimes and see nothing but flaws. And sometimes when someone says something mean about my looks now, a troll on the internet, somebody making a nasty comment on YouTube, I find that really hard to shrug off, because whilst I may have grown and changed and matured, I'm still that 12-year-old girl when somebody insults the way I look. I am still back on that school bus. Do we need more of these? I think we need more of these. I did do all of the right things at the time. I know one of the things that people say to people who are bullied is, go and tell somebody, and obviously I did. I told my parents, who were incredibly supportive and angry about what I was going through, and tried to do their best to get the school to do something. I told my teachers, and my head teacher said this: okay, Emma, I hear what you're saying, and what I'm going to suggest is that we have you and Stephen in my office, and you can just look him in the face and then just say to him, your behaviour's upsetting me. Hopefully that will make him think about it and he'll stop. What do you think? Slow clap for you, Mrs. Matheson. Yeah! 12-year-old me really wanted to do that. Like I said earlier, I'm not making this video because I want sympathy, and I'm certainly not doing it to fish for compliments. When you have been told over and over and over again that your face is appalling, and you start believing it, even with all the kindness and friendship you've been shown in the years since, it's very difficult for me to accept a compliment when someone says, oh, you look amazing, because I just think, no, I don't. So I promise I'm not making this video to fish for compliments. I'm making it because what happened to me last week made me realise that this is a huge part of who I am, and I'm probably never going to be completely over it, and that I have to just deal with that. And also, if it affects me that much, then there must be other people out there who've been through similar horrible things and are just as affected by it, and I think it's really important to talk about these issues. As far as I am concerned, bullying of any description is utterly deplorable, and I have no time for anyone who does it, and actually I have no time for anybody who excuses the people who do it either. But I do want anybody who stumbles upon this video to hear something really important and try and take this on board, and that is, it does get better. There is help out there. Reach out to your friends and your family, talk to your teachers if it's happening at school, and hopefully they will be a lot better than mine, because we've moved on a lot since the 90s. If you don't feel able to talk to the people around you, use a helpline. For example, here in the UK, we have the Samaritans. They are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year, and it's completely free to get in touch with them. Most importantly of all, and I know, believe me, I know how hard it is to hear this from someone, even someone who actually knows and cares about you, and believe it, but believe me when I say, you are beautiful, you are special, and you are loved. What these people are saying to you, if you're going through the kind of thing that I went through, is rubbish. And yes, I may still look in the mirror and I may still see my nose and my teeth and my hair and all the other things that I was picked on for, but I also see somebody who survived all of that. I also see somebody who reached 6th form and decided to help run a listening service for lower school pupils who are being bullied, because I wanted to help people, and I'm proud of that. I see someone who isn't scared to wear her heart on her sleeve and who will fight for the things that she cares about. And most amazingly of all, I see someone who still kinda wants to be on the stage. It turns out that my inner diva just cannot be permanently destroyed. Soz. Do I like the way I look? No, not really. I'm going to be really honest with you. No, I don't. But do I love the person that I am? Yes. After everything I went through, there was a very long time when I associated my outside with my inside, and I didn't like any aspect of myself because I hated the outside so much. And so now I'm kind of indifferent to the outside. It's what I look like, it's part of who I am, but I love the person that I am inside. And I really hope that everybody watching this loves the person they are inside too. So I really hope that sharing this with all of you has helped somebody out there who's going through the same thing or has been through the same thing. It's awful, and I wish I could go back in time and rescue 12-year-old me. Sometimes I genuinely get upset because I'll listen to a song that I used to listen to on the school bus to try and block it all out, and it'll bring like a lot of memories, and all I'll think is I just want to go and put my arm around her and protect her, and I can't, and that makes me sad. But she grew up okay, and I think that's all any of us can try and do, is find the best version of ourselves to be and be proud of who we are. I'm gonna go because my voice is getting higher and higher and higher because I'm getting emotional. So I'm gonna end this video here. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can click on my floaty head if you'd like to subscribe, and last week's video, which I swear is not upsetting in any way, is over here. I'll speak to you all next week. Take care, everybody. Bye.